Hey everyone, and welcome. Ever wanted to create your very own totally unique plant? Well, today we're going to do just that. I'm going to show you step by step how you can breathe your own amazing anthurium hybrids right in your own home. It's going to be a lot of fun, so let's jump right in. I mean, seriously, have you ever looked at your plant collection and just thought, man, what if I could make my own? Well, the cruel thing is, you totally can. And trust me, this isn't some complicated science experiment. It's more like a creative journey, and at the end of it, you get a plant that is 100% yours. Okay, so here is the game plan for today. We'll start with the why, the inspiration. Then we'll get into the nitty-gritty of the flower itself. After that, it's the main event, the pollination process. Then we'll talk about waiting for the fruit, harvesting those precious seeds, and finally, I'll show you the perfect toolkit to make it all happen. All right, first up, creating your own anthuriums. This is all about that spark of creation. And let me just say, you can absolutely do this. I'm serious. You don't need a fancy lab coat or a PhD in botany. It really just comes down to knowing a few key things and having a little bit of patience. That's kind of the secret sauce. Okay, next section, understanding the bloom. Think of this as learning to decode your plant's language. So first things first, that whole flower structure you see, that's called an inflorescence. Now the pretty, colorful, leaf-like part, that's the spathe. But the real magic, the part we're really interested in, is that spike in the middle. That's the spadix. And get this, it's covered in hundreds of tiny little flowers. Now, this is where it gets really clever. To make sure they don't pollinate themselves, anthuriums have two separate stages. First, they go into the female phase. You'll know what's happening because the spadix gets all sticky. That means it's ready to receive pollen. Then, only after that's over, it switches to the male phase and starts producing that powdery pollen. So a single flower is never receptive and producing pollen at the same time. Pretty smart, right? And this brings me to a huge myth I want to bust right now. You do not have to wake up in the middle of the night to pollinate your plants. I've heard people say you need to set a 4 a.m. alarm. No way. That sticky female phase can last for days. The rule is super simple. If it's sticky, you can pollinate it. That's it. Okay, theory's done. Now for the really fun part, the pollination process. This is your step-by-step guide. It really just breaks down into 3 easy steps. First, you're going to collect the pollen. Just use a soft brush on a flower that's in its male phase and gently sweep it onto a collection sheet. Step 2, store it. Pop that pollen into a little airtight vial, label it, and stick it in the freezer. It'll stay good for months. And finally, step 3, apply it. Just take your brush and gently dab that stored pollen onto a different flower that's in its sticky female phase. And look, the tools you need are not complicated at all. We're talking about a soft little paintbrush, something to catch the pollen on, like a piece of foil works great, some tiny vials for storage, and of course, labels and a pen. Oh, and I highly recommend some pollination bags. You just slip one over the flower after you're done to make sure no other rogue pollen gets in there and messes up your cross. So, you've done the deed. Pollen has been applied. Now comes the next phase, from flower to fruit, also known as the patient wait. So how do you know if you nailed it? It's pretty simple, actually. A failed attempt means the spadix will just turn yellow and die off. But if it worked, it'll stay green and healthy, and it'll start to swell up and get kind of bumpy. That's your first sign of success. And I gotta be real with you, this is not an overnight thing. You might see that first little swell within a week or so, which is super exciting. But then it takes a couple of months for the berries to really start forming. And for them to ripen, we're talking anywhere from 3 to, 8 months or even longer, depending on the species. So yeah, patience is definitely your best friend here. But after all that waiting comes the absolute best part, harvesting your seeds. This is the big payoff. And harvesting is so satisfying. First, you just give the ripe berries a gentle wiggle. If they're ready, they'll pop right off. Easy. Then you just squeeze the soft berry between your fingers, kind of like a tiny grape, and the seed will pop right out. The last step, and this is important, is to gently wipe off that slimy coating with a paper towel before you plant them. Okay, so you know the whole process now, from A to Z. So let's talk about your breeding toolkit and how you can get everything you need to succeed right from the start. So, are you ready to start your own creator's journey? If you're feeling pumped up and ready to try this, I've got the perfect way to get you going. Check this out. It's the pollinator kit from cosia.de.
It literally bundles everything we just talked about into one package. You get the reusable sheets for collecting pollen, a bunch of pollination bags in different sizes, the applicators, the little storage vials. It even comes with a vial holder. It's the whole shebang, all ready to go.
And of course, once you have those amazing new seeds, you're going to need somewhere to plant them, right? So don't forget the baby pots for your new seedlings. You can find the whole kit, and the pots too, all in one place, cosia.de. It's seriously the easiest way to get everything you need to jump right into your own breeding projects. And that's a wrap. So now there's really only one question left to ask. What amazing, totally unique creation are you going to bring to life first? I can't wait to see what you all come up with. Thanks for tuning in.